This time, let's take a look at the communication between blocks in the block version. We will repack the qubit-to-qubit app we just implemented using block. Since the app itself is quite similar, I'll start after making the necessary parts to save time. We will start after making a new app called the block-to-block app and copying the whole qubit-to-qubit app. I created the blocks folder and created a color block and a counter block under the blocks folder. Color state and counter state are the same as the state created in qubit-to-qubit, so I copied it as it is. And I replaced the initial state of a color block with the color state initial factory constructor and the initial state of the counter block with the count state initial factory constructor. In the main.dot file, I made two block provider widgets using multi-block provider in advance. In the scaffold background color of my homepage widget is red. The onPressed of two elevated buttons is an empty function, and the text widget is displaying 0. Let's start creating the events. Create a change color event that extends color event in the file color event.dart. Change color event does not require a separate parameter since it is going to change the color by checking the state value. Now let's go to color block and implement the onEvent handler. If the event type is change color event, change the type of on function to change color event and make the event handler a separate function called _change color. Void type _change color function receives a change color event type event and a color state type emitter as arguments. The logic to change color is the same as for qubit, so I will copy and paste the content of a color qubit. Now that we are done working on the color block, let's go to the count event.dot file and create an event. Let's create the change count event that extends the count event. Change count event does not need a separate parameter. Now let's go to counter block and implement the onEvent handler. The logic is almost the same as in qubit-to-qubit, so I will copy counter qubit and fix it. Change counter qubit to counter block, qubit to block, and give counter event as an additional type. Change color qubit type to color block type and color qubit variable to color block variable. Import the .async package using the auto-import function. Qubit fixes with block. Import material package using auto-import function. A block should not emit state directly, but should emit a new state inside an event handler. That's why I'm going to delete emit. Instead, I add change count event to the event stream. Implement an onEvent handler for change count event. Since this function is simple, you will handle it without making a separate function. Whenever a change count event occurs, use the copy the function of state to generate new state, whose value is state.count plus increment size, and then emit it. We no longer need the change counter function. When I look at the counter block in main.dart, the error-lens extension gives me an error message saying that counter block requires a named parameter color block. Color block is assigned the color block instance read through context.read. Application to the UI is almost similar to qubit-to-qubit. The difference is that the event is added to the stream instead of calling the method directly. The app function of a color block instance is called using context.read, and an instance of a change color event is provided as an argument. Replace 0 with the state.counter value of the counter block instance accessed using the context.watch. The add function of counter block instance is called using context.read, and an instance of a change counter event is provided as an argument. And since the background of the scaffold must also change, you'll listen to the state.color value of the color block instance accessed through the context.watch. I ran the emulator for testing. First, let's continue to press the change color button. As the colors change in order, it decreases by 100 the moment it becomes black. We originally planned to make it like this, so let's keep pressing. Since it became black again, it became -200. Now I'll press the increment counter button. Since the color is black, it decreases by 100. I'll press the change color button to change it to red, and then click the increment counter button. It increases by 1. I'll press the change color button again, and then the increment counter button. It increases by 10. I'll press the change color button again to change it to blue, and then press the increment counter button. It increases by 100. It has been confirmed that all functions are operating normally. Next, we'll refactor with a combination of block and listener.